Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the CineFiles Extended Cut, the show where we break down the biggest stories of the week, as well as some other ones that didn't quite make the cut. So if you like this, be sure to subscribe to MojoTalks. I'm your host, Matt. We got Justin, Phoebe, and Liam. My friends, how are we all doing today?
We're still on this? You're still not excited to hear from me. It's always, and Liam.
I'm indifferent.
Well, it was just like end of sentence.
It's like a running
There was
gag
no
at this
ill
point.
will on that one.
Maybe a little.
Let's start with the first segment like we always do. What you watching? We'll start to the man to my left. Justin,
Oh, that's a really good question.
have you not been watching
I
anything?
actually can't say what I've been watching, so maybe skip me. We'll talk about it next week. I can't say.
Whoa, okay.
Can you,
Calm
you
down.
can't
Very
even say,
secretive.
you can say what
No.
you saw.
No.
Literally cannot.
He literally cannot.
Can I say?
He saw
what you
Infinity War Part 2.
Oh.
Guys, and the name of the movie is Infinity War for real this time.
Yeah.
Can I say what the
For
character
real.
looks like?
No. Not allowed.
Can I say what genre
No.
it is?
No.
We'll
It's
talk
already
about
been on this.
You'll have to
We've
tune
been
in.
on this
Skipping
for too
Justin.
long.
You'll
We've
have
been on
to
this
tune
for too
in
long.
next week to find
You
out.
had your chance to share, and it's been revoked.
I appreciate that.
Phoebe, what have you been watching?
I also can't say what I watched. Just kidding.
I also can't say what we... Well,
I
that's our
watched.
show.
That's
I
our show.
watched Lady Bird for the
Oh,
first
thank
time. I had
goodness.
not seen it. It was such a wonderful film. It was so lovely. I really, really enjoyed it, and I feel like as a daughter to a mother.
To a mother?
Yeah, to a mother. It felt really authentic, like that sort of strained relationship between the mother-daughter and, you know, like the passive aggressiveness and the teenage
Yeah.
angst. Like it just felt so authentic to me. I really, really enjoyed it.
Now, see, it was my favorite movie of the year.
Last year.
Last year. Yeah,
It
correct.
came out last year.
Yeah, of that year.
Yeah.
Last year.
Of the year in
Of
question.
last year, that year, we understand. Would you say
2017.
Oh boy. Okay, good. No one's interrupting.
No.
me. Is it one of your favorites or the favorite? Because it's my favorite, so
It's
you should take that into
I think
consideration.
that everybody knows by now. I won't stop talking about it. I think that The Shape of Water was my favorite movie.
That was basically my question. Did you like it more than The Shape of Water?
I feel like it's so different that like you can't really compare the two. It feels like this old Hollywood sci-fi movie versus like this very real, you know, sort of raw film about a mother and a daughter. Like I just don't think that they're like at all on the same wavelength. Not in terms of like how good they are, just like you can't compare the two.
Completely
But I
agree. Yeah.
definitely think that like Lady Bird is a very special film, and I think that it's like now that I've seen it, I can sort of attest to the fact that it's so important that it was nominated for so many Oscars, and I think like it probably could have won. It should have won. Like in retrospect, I feel like all the winners were good. Like I'm not saying that any of them were bad, but I just feel like it was such a lovely little film. I loved it.
I love that.
Side note, did you see those tweets of like that person live tweeting Greta Gerwig in the theater?
Yeah, I was gonna
Is
say
that real?
before we throw
I
to
feel like
Liam,
that's just.
but
I feel like that must be
Right.
fake news. No.
What are you talking about?
one of my friends. So let me set the table for you then.
Set the
One of my friends texted me like, "Oh my God, did you see the Greta Gerwig live tweeting thing at the movie theater?" I was like, "No, I did not." But apparently, this girl was at the movie theater. She was gonna see what was the movie?
I feel pretty.
I Feel
The one
Pretty,
with
Amy Schumer's new movie.
Yeah.
And she's just getting ready to watch it, and then friggin' Greta Gerwig walks in
Cool.
with like a huge posse of her friends, and she was just apparently roasting it the whole
Out
time.
loud, too.
Out loud. And
I don't
the
know
girl
if
was
that's,
just live
like,
tweeting it.
That's not cool.
Yeah,
doesn't
I
sound
feel like
like
Greta
her.
Gerwig is more respectful of.
I agree.
She
things.
seems like a very gentle soul. Like I mean, obviously I don't know her, but like from her interviews and like her just her general being seems
Yeah.
like very gentle. I find that hard
Yeah.
to believe. But that is awful if she did that.
The
That
person,
is
no,
so
the person was
awful.
saying
I
that Greta
love it.
Gerwig was like on her phone and stuff like that, and I was like, I feel like Greta Gerwig has
Yeah.
more
Respect.
decency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hilarious story, and I kind of love the idea of Greta
But there's
Gerwig
no-
making
there's-
fun of
yeah.
Amy Schumer in that movie.
Yeah.
There was
but
no
I just
proof,
don't
right? It was
know-
just this person like making up
Exactly.
stuff
It's
on
a
Twitter.
weird thing to make up, though. I mean, not to give any credence
It is.
to what she's saying, but it's like a weird thing to be sitting in a movie theater, and be like, you know, it'd be funny if I just made up a story about Greta Gerwig.
Or maybe
Or the
she
person
just
wasn't
thought-
even in the theater
Yeah,
at all.
just
They were just
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna.
It was just like
this
another
really bad.
person with blonde hair.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe
Yeah.
she's like, oh, that is Greta Gerwig, but really it wasn't.
That
And
was-
she's
that was just a different person.
built it up in her head. So this is a tough story to follow, Liam.
Yeah,
but what have
my
you been
movie's
watching?
probably pretty boring compared to that. I mean, like if you're living in 1995, maybe it'd be a bit more exciting. But
Oh, there's
I
a
found
hint.
I don't know if it's a hidden gem because I don't know how it's held today. But
Oh,
I
I
watched
know where
this
you're going with this.
movie called To Die For with Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
I don't know why I watched it, but I was reading up about it. Somehow I came across it, and it's Nicole Kidman starring role, a young Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh,
Ooh.
Whoa.
Casey Affleck, who I won't.
That's a reaction.
Casey Affleck, who I won't discuss. But who else? There was this other guy.
You tell us.
Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon is great in it.
He's so funny.
I might think this is Nicole Kidman's best role that I've seen, at least. It's basically like this woman who's got this drive to be a news reporter, and it's like the lengths that she goes through to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And she meets up with this group of teenagers who she wants to make a documentary about, and it kind of takes a dark turn. Joaquin Phoenix plays one of the teenagers. He's got his head shaved. I guess this was like 5 years before Gladiator, so it was like,
right.
He must have been like a no-name, but
so it's
amazing.
like a thriller type movie.
It's like a thriller. It reminded me a lot in tone of I, Tonya, which I didn't really like, and I thought this did basically what I, Tonya did, but like a lot better. And
Did
I heard
it have
that it was
comedic elements or.
Yeah, it was like a dark comedy.
Oh, okay.
I had heard that this was based on somewhat of a true story. Like it was like all the names were changed, but it was like inspired by some case in the States in the 90s.
Oh,
but
Ooh,
it's
that
super
sounds
good.
good.
Nicole Kidman plays this like super weirdo that's like very like flashy and but also like kind of creepy.
Cool.
Nicole
Great. I
Kidman is so
recommend.
cool. I
The
really
best.
like
Great
her.
actress, yeah.
She's
Amazing.
I
She's
love
in, like,
The Others.
The Others is great. Big
Yeah.
Little Lies is
Yes.
amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Winning all the
check
awards
that
for
out.
that
I also
one.
watched a horror movie because I was in like a weird old horror movie vibe called Carnival of Souls, which was very
I've heard of
weird
Sounds
and
terrifying.
it's on Criterion. And it's like
Oh.
it's basically this guy like Herc Harvey, I think his name is, who like basically made this movie for nothing, and like it inspired like David Lynch and like all these guys, surreal guys, to make movies, and it was really creepy for like the 60s. It was like terrifying.
Check that
Anyways,
Cool.
2 movies.
Nice.
Awesome.
So we'll wrap up what you're watching with that on that note, and we're gonna jump into the 3 biggest stories of the week next. Welcome back. We're gonna talk about the 3 biggest stories of the week now, and we're gonna start things off with a Netflix story. Did you guys did you hear that Netflix landed the movie rights to a new Stephen King story?
Oh boy.
Ooh la
This-
la.
Oh boy,
Doesn't
Okay.
surprise me in the slightest.
It doesn't surprise
2
me
of their
either.
biggest original movies last year were Stephen King adaptations.
Yeah,
So I think
There
they're probably
was-
going all in.
Gerald's Game,
Yep.
1922,
Yep.
Scary.
both
it?
critically acclaimed.
And both very popular.
Yeah.
Yes, but you let out a big woof.
These
You kinda barked.
I like Stephen King. You know, I like his books, but I find a lot of his adaptations are hit or miss a lot of the time.
Well, yeah, because they turn out so many of them. There's
Yeah,
so
they
many
make
like
so many,
TV
exactly.
movies that are.
Yeah,
But like again,
Garbage.
some of my favorite movies, like The Shining, is technically a
Is that
Stephen
one of your
King.
favorite movies?
Yeah, I love
That is
it.
a film.
I've heard
to watch.
I've heard it's a movie. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like Netflix has been on this spree of just buying all these licenses and stuff like that. And until they can turn something out that actually makes me think that it's a capable studio, I'm gonna withhold judgment.
But that's why I'm kind of wondering, or that's why I'm thinking that they did land this because those 2 movies did so well, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
Especially
we know we're
Gerald's
not doing
Game.
so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Gerald's Game
I
was
also-
a huge hit
yeah.
for them.
I also think that like Stephen King is like Stephen King adaptations are like some of the biggest things right now, especially like with It and I mean
Totally.
with Castle Rock on the way,
Right.
which is supposed to be
Which looks great.
which
Yeah.
looks amazing,
Yeah.
and like that show I think is gonna be like the next big thing.
But that's an example of taking something that's like Stephen King set and not necessarily
But-
based on one Stephen King
But think about
story.
it, like now, like everything's gonna have like Stephen King presents or something
Yeah.
like that on it, and
Yeah.
now it's like this is gonna make this whatever this is.
But
that
is
much
this
better.
going to be
Yeah.
it, or is it going to be Dark Tower? You know, is it going to be like there's just for every good example of a Stephen King adaptation, there's like countless examples of how that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, a Stephen King adaptation, that's going to be great. It's like we gotta wait and see.
Well, I'll tell you guys what the story's about in case you're not sure or our listeners aren't sure. It's basically about 2 inseparable siblings. I think they're twins. Their names are Becky and Cal, and Becky is pregnant, and her parents are like, oh, you know what? Go spend the summer, I think, with your grandparents or your uncle and aunt or something like that. So they drive off, but they stop along the way at this big field of grass because they hear this kid like screaming for help. And apparently there's this kid in the tall grass with his mom, and they go into the tall grass and a bunch of like weird, mysterious stuff happens. So that's pretty, I mean, that's
And this is a
very
short
Stephen
story?
King. It's a novella. Yeah.
Okay.
Stephen
And
King
fun fact,
loves-
written by Stephen King and his son, Joe
interesting.
Oh,
Hill.
cool.
Yeah.
Stephen King loves fields, eh?
Well, yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
1922 has a
They're
has a
creepy.
Lots of
A
fields.
has a
cornfield,
picture of-
right?
Yeah, cornfield.
Yeah.
Children of the Corn.
Stephen
has a
King loves
cornfield.
2 things: fields and the state of Maine.
Children.
That's it.
The state of Maine, yeah. This is true.
And putting kids in his movies.
And kids.
Yep. So, I mean, we touched upon it a little bit, but do we think this is going to be good or bad? Is it the right choice by Netflix?
I feel like it's so hard to say because, like, yes, they had like their past success with the 2 Stephen King films that they adapted last year, but like Stephen King has such like a specific vision, and I feel like nothing really ever translates properly to film. Like the books are always so different or so much better, and I think that's the case for a lot of things. But I don't know. Netflix has also had a lot of really bad movies lately, like a lot. So I guess we'll see. I feel like Stephen King has like this knack for like capturing, you know, like being young and that sort of vibe. And I don't know if it's gonna work.
I think also like some of the best Stephen King adaptations have been the ones where they change so much. Because I think Stephen King, his books are like, he's notorious for writing ridiculous stuff in his books. Like, I mean, like there's a scene in the book which I won't get into because it's pretty graphic, with involving children. And I heard that he was like super like messed up on cocaine at that point.
Yeah, he was super high.
And like The Shining also is probably the best Stephen King adaptation, and that's only good because like they changed so much of his stuff.
He notoriously didn't like that.
Did you ever see the made-for-TV adaptation?
No, I never did.
Okay, so when I was in high school film class, because I'm like a film nerd.
I had one of those too.
Okay, well it's all about me now. So we watched The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick Shining, and then we watched the Stephen King Shining, and like the Stanley Kubrick one is like obviously so much better. Like I felt like the other one was just like, it was like a made-for-TV 3-part miniseries, and it just like, it was not like it at all, but he was so much happier with that. Like I feel like he just has like a very specific vision.
Yeah.
Because it just like wasn't.
There's no way that like they would be able to adapt it into like I don't know, shot for shot, but like exactly how in the book, because he was just writing nonsense.
There's
at
a
giant
giant turtle in the book.
Yeah,
there's so much weird stuff.
He turns into like a spider at one point, and it's like
that's sick though. That's so sick.
All right, well maybe
spiders are kind of creepy. I don't know if I'd be super down with that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, very interesting. So I guess we'll wrap up the Netflix story. We're gonna jump into a sequel here, or a threequel, if you will. Robert Downey Jr., you know, he needs work after the Avengers.
I don't know if he needs work.
Dr. Doolittle?
I forgot about that.
And all the money he's making off Avengers, I don't think he has to work again in his life, or his kids.
He doesn't have to, but I assume, you know, big actor, he wants to. He wants to create art.
He's leaving the role as Iron Man so he can take on bigger, more important roles like Dr. Doolittle.
Yes.
And
I think we can all agree.
And Sherlock Holmes.
Yet again.
He's busting out the magnifying glass. He's going to peep some stuff here, guys. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes 3 got a 2020 release date. So it's a couple years off, but they're going to release it on Christmas Day. Ooh. And on that day, it'll be 9 whole years since, like, the second one.
Right. Is Guy Ritchie back?
Good question. Not 100% sure. We'll double check that. Too bad we don't have our little computer. But
where's our computer boy?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We do know though that where's our computer boy?
Yeah.
We don't have one anymore. We gotta come to terms with that.
He's gone.
But what we do know is that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, as well as his co-star. I'm blanking on
Jude
his name.
Law.
The boy.
Jude Law.
We all say it together.
Yeah.
Jude Law.
Yeah.
Jude
Watson's back.
Is Rachel McAdams?
Didn't she?
Oh.
Spoilers?
I mean, it's been up for like
we'll see.
I have a theory about this, guys.
Right.
Oh.
So, for those who haven't seen Infinity War, this may be a bit of a spoiler. You're not ready for this theory, dude?
I don't know, scared.
You're scared of my theory? Okay, so in Infinity War,
are these
Iron
spoilers?
Man and Doctor Doom are not Doctor Doom, pardon. Doctor Strange are paired up throughout the movie. And notoriously, Benedict Cumberbatch played Sherlock for many years on the Sherlock TV show.
Oh, I did not know that.
One of the best iterations of the character, I may say.
And I think maybe they got to talking, and in the heated rivalry, he was like, well, I'm the better Sherlock Holmes. And Mr. Robert Downey Jr., not one to back down from a challenge, was like, you think so? All right, let's do this.
Cumberbatch is like, prove it.
Yeah, exactly.
Prove it.
They have a detective.
Number 3, baby.
Oh man,
It was the better Holmes.
If anybody cares about my opinion, which I'm sure that Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch
I want to throw it to Liam for this.
She does really care.
Go ahead.
Obviously, Benedict Cumberbatch is the better Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, interesting.
Obviously.
Prove
like,
it.
obviously.
Prove it.
Yeah, that's
Prove
fair.
it.
That's
Just
fair.
watch
Let's wait
it.
till the
I
third
just
one.
watch it.
Let's wait for the third one.
Actually, I wasn't huge on the first Sherlock Holmes, but for some reason, I really like the second one. There's a lot of really cool slow motion
Really?
stuff.
I was
in
gonna
that
say, was it
second
the
one.
forest
That's a hot
scene?
take.
The forest scene is like really cool in that movie.
There's one part in the first one where he's in a fight and he's like describing.
I thought
everything
I thought that was
do.
pretty lame. I was like, all right, like
Okay,
it's
what
just,
was
like,
cool about
pointing
that
out-
was it reminded me of like something Batman would do. Like it was a very like cool tactical thing where
like-
they slowed everything down and it was like, I'm gonna punch him in the neck and it's gonna hurt.
I think that was one of my
haven't
favorite
they-
parts
Yeah.
of that, because in the
really,
second
really
one,
cool.
it comes back and like the main villain, I think, was it Moriarty in the second one? I think. Anyways,
Maybe.
they're fighting, and then Sherlock Holmes has that whole thought process. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this and that," and then switches to him, and he's like, "Oh, you think you're the only one who can play this game?" And then he starts like doing it. I thought that was kind of
Sherlock
cool.
Holmes is such a suave
suave
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sick.
I don't know. I'm excited to see another one. I think I don't know. It was interesting seeing Sherlock Holmes from the perspective of Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that leads nicely into the question I have for you guys. It'll be, like I said before, 9 years since the previous sequel. Has it aged out? Do you think people are going to be interested in seeing this? I mean, we're talking about it. We seem a little lukewarm, but it seems like a fun franchise. I think maybe I'd check it out. What do you guys think?
I think for sure it's worth checking out. Robert Downey Jr. is just fun to watch. He's a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
That's a fun role. He gets to chew the scenery and be kind of an asshole. That's
Yeah.
kind of his wheelhouse, you know.
Yeah.
He's these assholes, too smart for everybody characters. So I'm cool with it. I think it's a good spot for him to be in after Avengers.
I feel like it's one of those like timeless stories as well. You know, like I feel like
That's a
there
good
are so
point.
many iterations of this character, and I feel like it's always interesting because there's always something new to be brought to the table.
Yeah.
And like the mystery sort of just like keeps people hooked. Like I'll still see it. I just definitely think that Benedict Cumberbatch is the better Sherlock Holmes.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah, especially
see.
post Iron Man, I think, or post
MCU
Infinity
in
or
general.
MCU in general.
Yeah.
I think people would be clamoring to see Robert Downey Jr.
More
in something.
Yeah.
RDJ.
Especially because he hasn't really done anything during his time on, right?
The Judge.
I was going to say
Oh,
The
that's
Judge.
that's actually a good movie.
No.
I
I
like
haven't
that
seen it.
movie.
You're
I
out of
was
the
just-
panel.
yeah.
Oh no, it's good.
Get
I
out.
like
First the
it.
box trolls and now the Judge.
Okay, that's
Listen,
that's
Spy
quite
Kids.
That's quite
Oh,
enough.
okay.
Spy
I just
Kids.
feel like it was such a failed attempt on his part to be like, hey, I know I haven't done serious roles a lot lately, but I'm going to do this. Don't forget about me as a serious dramatic actor. But it's just, yeah, he's good, but the movie and the story is just
I mean,
blah.
yeah. I don't
Phoebe
know.
loves it.
Phoebe can.
She's ready to
I'm gonna
fight
make
you on
Phoebe
this
cry.
I
Oh
don't
no.
really care.
Oh no. There's another question, or a little statement here.
Okay.
So it's coming out on Christmas Day, but there's another movie coming out on Christmas Day in 2020.
Oh.
Star Wars? No.
It's another sequel. Any guesses?
Avatar.
Oh yeah, you got
Really?
it. Phoebe nailed it.
Wow, good for you.
Avatar
I was
2 is
I was
coming out the
talking
same
about
day.
this with a coworker of ours about how like people are really not excited, or they're like, why are they making 3 Avatar movies?
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to the conclusion that like James Cameron knows what he's doing. Like, there's a reason that like every one of his movies has made so much money. Is that like I think he knows something that we don't, and like he knows of some technology that's gonna blow everyone's minds. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's some reason he's making 3, like, or else they wouldn't have put faith into it.
Well, he was working. There was like a story that came out a little while ago, but he was working on technology that allowed 3D cameras to actually go underwater.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
So-
I can't wait to see underwater 3D.
I don't know if that's making.
I think there's got to be something that's gonna like blow everyone's.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, if it is underwater 3D, I don't think anyone's going to be too excited about it.
But I think there's something more than that. Underwater 3D.
I hope
sound
so.
that
I
exciting.
hope so.
But I feel like, I don't know. It's so visually spectacular that I think that's just like a huge draw, no matter how long it's been since the previous the previous movie.
Yeah,
I should
but like
say.
we just have Avatar for that, right? Like I could just go back and watch the first Avatar.
Yeah,
like,
but
the
things have
technology still
advanced.
stayed up.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
but I think there's something that like everyone else doesn't have right now that's gonna be like the biggest thing in Avatar, and it's gonna be like, oh my god, this is the new big thing in I don't know.
So are any of you willing to say that the Sherlock Holmes movie is going to beat Avatar at the box office?
No,
I don't think
no
so.
way.
No chance. Sorry.
As much as I want to see Sherlock Holmes 3 more than Avatar 2, I don't think it's
Yeah. Like you said, he has like the recipe down. You
Yeah.
know?
for sure.
You guys
Yeah.
mark it in your
He knows the
calendar.
secrets.
Double feature, Christmas Day
Oh, yeah.
2020.
Double feature.
Let's go.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Sequels.
get that in writing.
Do we have our calendars? Should we write that down?
Siri,
Siri. Hey Google. We should get paid for that.
Hey
actually.
Google.
Apple,
All right.
where you at?
Yeah. The number one entry, Jordan Peele.
Oh,
Yay.
Yeah. So he came out with a little movie called Get Out last year.
yeah.
It was awesome.
Have you heard of it?
Have you heard of Get Out?
If you haven't, get out.
Get out of here.
Hey. Yeah. So Jordan Peele. Everyone's been like waiting with bated breath for what his next project's going to be, and he finally announced it. Well, he kind of announced it on Twitter. He sent out a poster of his new movie, which is titled Us.
Yep.
And it's going to be another political socio thriller kind of movie. I'm super excited for it. The poster is super simple. It's just a white poster, 2 black silhouettes against it, and there's a really cool tagline that like the first 3 words like blew me away. It's a new nightmare from the minds of Academy Award winner Jordan Peele. That's the tagline for the movie.
That's just
A new
good,
nightmare.
good copy.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that
It
copy
really is.
deserves
It's so
a
simple,
little
but it's
pat on the
like
back.
I was like, I've never seen people get so excited about a poster and so little information.
Yeah.
Just the fact that like he announced what is the title of his next movie is
Yeah.
crazy.
It's so fascinating to me that like right before Get Out came out, like people were just like, "Oh, it's cool that this, former Mad TV cast member is making a horror movie."
Yeah.
Kind of quaint, cute little idea. And now it's like, "Oh, the brilliant filmmaker behind Get Out is
He's
back
almost
again."
like the face of horror right now.
Yeah,
But it's
Right.
weird. He's
Totally,
made one
totally.
thing like,
But that one thing has been so monumental that it's
Yeah.
like,
but
Yeah.
putting like this much faith into someone's second project is like crazy.
I just want to jump in to build on that. Get Out's budget was a measly $5 million. He did a great job with
Blumhouse.
that. But this next project is said to have a budget of $25 million. So they're giving him a lot more to work with. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't
Yeah.
think that like would directly translate into it being a good movie or better
No,
movie
but just,
than Get Out.
he has more freedom to.
Because I feel like the Get Out was so good because it was so simple and so
Yeah,
small.
I
You know
agree.
what I mean? Like, and I feel like we talked about this one time about how Blumhouse sort of has that like to make movies for a small budget that are really, really good, has that sort of down packed.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jordan Peele, like Get Out was so incredible. And I don't think we've had this discussion before again, that like sociological horror films is are a new thing. But I think he has such an interesting perspective that I'm so looking forward to seeing something new from him.
And also just the times we're living in is just it's so much more prevalent.
I almost think the biggest takeaway from this is that they're giving a budget like this to such like a, I don't know, like a socio-political movie. You know what I mean? Like with something to say. I feel like these are movies that like would be made on such a like lower budget, but like this kind of thing is so in right now. It's just like movies with something to say.
Yeah, for sure.
About like the times we're living in. I don't know. You
Yeah.
see it. You see it with like. Sorry, this is off. I guess this is kind of off topic, but like the This Is America video, which we've all been obsessed with this past week. It's like it's so big, and like something like this, like 20 years ago, like would have just been like kind of like a niche thing, right? Like with like a video with like a deeper meanings and stuff like that. But now it's just like everyone's like dissecting it. And crazy.
Not to go too much down that path, but like it is kind of filmmaking, right? Because it's director Hiro Murai, who we've all talked about how much we like his work. Like, short film, music videos is something that a lot of our favorite directors have done, like famously Spike Jonze. And
usually
stuff like
get
that.
their start in.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about this video, and like you mentioned, I think it's relevant to bring up Get Out and bring up Jordan Peele, is like, can you imagine This Is America being on rotation at MTV? Like that was the way that people had access to it.
Yeah.
It would have had like a completely different kind of
You don't think?
platform and meaning behind it. The
Well,
fact
that's why
that
I
it
think
would
it's
be in between
yeah.
like Incubus videos.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's why I think it's interesting that like he's like people are saying that he's kind of brought new life to the music video.
I hope that's
we're
the
getting
case.
really off topic because
Yeah,
this is,
so
like, music.
so super
But,
off topic.
Yeah.
But I think like all this to say that it's really cool that like these Black filmmakers and Black trendsetters are like at the forefront and everybody's talking
And
about
they're
them,
putting
and it's
faith
like
into it,
it's about time.
Yeah,
it
like
is.
for sure.
It's awesome.
Just to bring it full circle, Jordan Peele is one of them. There,
Yes.
we're back on track.
exactly.
now.
Yeah.
There's not rumors, but Lupita Nyong'o and Elizabeth Moss are in talks to star,
Amazing,
which is really awesome.
Awesome.
Elizabeth Moss doing A Handmaid's Tale right now, really
Amazing.
great. Lupita Nyong'o is a great actress. So follow up question to all of this for you guys. Get Out set a super high bar for not just like horror films, but obviously Jordan Peele himself. Will this movie live up to it? Do we think it's going to be as good? What's our initial thought process behind that?
I have total faith in in Jordan Peele.
Me too.
Yeah.
Is this put out by Blumhouse?
No.
Universal Pictures. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I guess they could. Yeah. I don't know. I think it should, because like I don't think he's gonna put out something that's bad, but I think you see this often with like these filmmakers that are have so much hype behind them, like famously with the guy who made Donnie Darko. That was like his next movie flopped. Southland Tales.
Oh, is that his follow-up?
Yeah.
I remember he made The Box.
And now, like, where is he? Did he make The Box?
Or The Button?
Is it Richard Kelly?
I don't remember.
I don't know. But I just think like it's always scary to put so much faith behind someone. But I'm obviously excited because like Get Out is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Like I do think it could be as good. Maybe not necessarily better, but I do think he's gonna have like another success. But it's always just like such a scary thought when you come out with something as good as that as your first movie. You know, it's just always just
I've never
hard
seen
to kind of live
something
up to that.
so deemed a classic so fast.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was like it came out and people were just like it was just in the canon of like horror.
Amazing
Or,
Yeah.
or,
I
like,
had a closing note, if you will.
Yes, sure.
I had a screenwriting teacher once who said you spend your whole life making your first project and like a year making your second.
Yeah.
I think that's a fun way of thinking about it. Like
Very
Jordan
interesting,
Peele like has been thinking about what his first movie would be for so long.
Yeah.
And now to, so quickly be like, this is my next movie.
Yeah.
It does change
yeah.
things a little bit. And I think that's like, we'll see what he's really made of and what he can come up with on a repeatable
I think
basis.
anybody would write him a blank check after Get Out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Please.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you mentioned that. Like, I've read interviews where as he's filming Get Out, or like when he got all the go-aheads to do Get Out, he was obviously really stoked. But he's like, when I was working on Get Out, I had like 3-4 other projects of like social commentary horror movies going on in my head.
Right.
So
awesome.
he has a few others after this one ready.
I'm
Hopefully,
ready.
fingers
Excited
crossed.
for him.
We'll
Love
see.
it.
Yeah.
So that wraps up the 3 biggest stories of the week. But there's some that didn't make the cut, and that's called that segment's called the cutting room floor. We're gonna get to that next. Welcome back to the CineFiles Extended Cut. If you want to check out the show as an audio podcast, we have it on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So now it's time for the cutting room floor. These are the stories that didn't quite make the cut, but we're going to talk about them anyways. A new trailer dropped yesterday. It was yesterday, right? Predator?
Yes.
Oh,
Predator.
To be honest, I already forgot about it.
Yeah, I forgot I watched it. I was like,
Oh.
did I watch it? Yeah, I did.
Did any of you like it?
Yes.
Oh,
Really?
Justin.
Really?
Let's start with the positive.
Okay, go ahead.
Justin.
Like I was saying, well, I didn't like the trailer.
Why would you
at all.
like that?
Justin.
There were I'm a big Shane Black head.
Same.
Yes.
I love Shane
the
Black.
nice guys.
And this trailer had little moments of like, oh, I can tell Shane Black is making this movie. Like there was a scene with Sterling K. Brown where he kind of looks at his partner. He's like, this guy saw some stuff, and I was like, that's like so good. And I hope the movie is like that. But there was a lot of stuff in the trailer that was just like any other sci-fi action movie, like invasion kind of movie, which didn't interest me all that much. But I know that when you actually sit down and the writing of the movie is going to be what people come away liking, not so much. It's Predator, right?
Yeah.
It's like something we've seen before. It's not going to
You'll
blow
get the
anyone-
action scenes, yeah.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
But I think where this movie can really shine is in the dialogue and the
Yeah.
characterization.
Which I think we don't really see much of in the
No,
trailer.
we
It's
get
mostly
almost
just
none.
Jacob
Yeah.
Tremblay because they're like,
Yeah.
Playing with a.
Did
that
you like that
threw me
scene?
out immediately.
That was weird. Yeah, that was weird.
I was like,
You didn't like the
Jacob
juxtaposition?
Tremblay. It's
of-
just Jacob
No.
Tremblay to
So-
me. He's like just a cute kid that everyone freaks out over
It's
one
funny
movie that
you
he's
say
in.
that
He hasn't done
'cause-
anything since.
How old is
Sorry,
he
he's
now?
a child. I should be
Happy.
saying.
Yeah, you're like
You're like
trashing him.
roasting him.
Come on.
Jeez.
But I feel when he was like
Oh,
playing
God.
when he was playing with the toy and he's like, I was like, is he a little old to be playing with toys like
He's like
that?
25
a little
years
bit?
How dare you?
Isn't he like 13
Yeah, it's been like
or
30
something?
years since
Or
Room.
14. Anyways,
It's funny because that scene actually reminded me of the opening of The Nice Guys a little bit.
Yeah, true, eh?
It's kind of
Almost
Oh, the-
exactly.
yeah, it's almost the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Jacob
Kid
Tremblay threw me right
Crash?
out of the
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of the Venom trailer in a way. The first Venom trailer.
no,
in
we
that,
can't
like,
start
it was,
with
In
that.
it felt like they were just trying to make the most generic trailer I've like ever. Like they were. It was almost like they were competing to see who could make the most generic
Wow.
trailer.
Yeah. I see
Hello,
that.
Venom trailer people.
Yeah.
We're coming for you.
Do better.
Because it was just like it was so generic that I like immediately forgot I had watched it.
But it has a good cast. I mean, there's a lot of
Amazing
good
cast.
people in there. You had mentioned
Sterling K.
Jacob
Brown, so
Tremblay,
good.
Sterling K. Brown, also Trevante Rhodes of
amazing.
Moonlight fame, Keegan Michael Key.
Yep.
See, that's
He's sweet.
that's
Olivia
where I
Munn
got
too.
the
Holbrook?
most excited.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Big
I'm excited
cast.
about Olivia
Yeah.
Munn.
She's great. I like
She's
Olivia
cool.
Munn.
Is she?
Yeah. She's kind of one note,
X-Men.
but that one note is pretty good.
That's what got me most excited was Trevante Rhodes, because like after I saw Moonlight, I was like, what is this guy doing next? And I saw Predator, and I was like, oh boy.
Weird follow-up.
Exciting.
Weird follow-up.
Got to make that go. Got to get that money.
Moonlight
for,
and
that paper.
Predator.
So do you guys think you're gonna go see it?
Yeah, for sure.
In
I
theaters?
think there's something similar to the Venom trailer. I think there's something weird about this trailer, and they're cutting it in a specific way.
Yeah, I agree.
To like hide either dialogue or I don't know.
So we have examples of movies with good trailers that ended up being bad movies, like Suicide Squad. I'm holding out hope that this and Venom are bad trailers for good movies.
Yeah.
We shall see.
We shall see. On to the next one, shall we? Tarantino. More news on his new movie, Once Upon a Time in America. New castings.
Yep.
Basically, a lot of the veterans of the Tarantino universe, if you will. We got Burt Reynolds, Kurt Russell, Michael Madsen, and Liam sent me a very funny G-chat the other day about it. Do you care to share?
Is it what I think it is? This didn't excite me at all. It's just a bunch of white dudes.
Yeah.
Old white dudes
yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like the most boring casting I think like I've ever seen.
Did they even have to announce this? Like it's kind of par for the course.
It was the most boring casting news. I was like, this is just like, yeah.
But with that said, are any of us actually like upset that these guys are casted, or it's just kind of like, oh, business as usual?
It
makes
cool.
sense.
Underwhelming.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like Margot Robbie is like the exciting thing about that movie. You know, like
it's been rumored for so long,
because but like she's cool, but like come on. That's like the most boring casting ever.
I also,
like, I don't think it's not going to be good because of it. It's just like so boring.
But I don't think they're going to have big roles in the movie either. It seems like it's really they're getting them there to be like background actors, which
is like get anybody.
Like, get anybody, yeah.
But see, this is interesting. I'm just going to bring this up. I'm blanking on his name. Wes Anderson.
Yes.
He uses the same people all the time.
Yeah,
have we ever reacted that way? It's funny because I'm calling myself out too. Like when I saw this, I was just like, yeah, same old white dudes. I wasn't necessarily upset, but
I think we can agree though that the recurring Wes Anderson cast is a little bit more interesting than that.
Yeah.
I would
rather
agree.
see Jeff Goldblum.
I get more excited seeing Bill Murray
Swinton.
doing Wes Anderson stuff than I do about Michael Madsen doing Quentin.
That's that's a fair rebuttal. Yeah, because that cast is very diverse. It's very fun.
It's fascinating.
Tilda Swinton is an awesome mainstay. I will say.
Versus like Michael Madsen being grumpy again.
Yeah.
Just the grumpiest guy.
Like that's the best.
That's all he does.
Especially like
he's great at being
after all this
grumpy.
Controversy about Quentin Tarantino recently. Just throw out a bunch of old white dude names is kind of weird.
I'm still stoked about this movie though.
Oh, for sure.
I'm still stoked about the story, but the casting news so far has not got me that excited.
What
even
about,
like Leo and
Margot?
Leo?
Yeah,
Leo and Brad Pitt.
Who else is Brad Pitt? Like that's still just like.
Oh no!
There's other people other than A-list actors that could be in your movie. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's like I said, it's just so predictable.
Obvious.
It's so like, who would you cast in like your ideal movie? It's like all those the same
well, if you
people.
could, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
If you're
what do you mean if you could? I don't know.
But do you have to? Like I don't know.
I'm probably a little biased. Leo is my favorite actor of all time. But when he teamed up with Tarantino for Django Unchained. I was like, this is awesome. And I honestly thought that he was way better than Christoph Waltz in that movie, too. I thought he should have won the Academy Award. I know he had a smaller role, but, Christoph Waltz just plays the same dude all the time.
Okay, I'm going to draw the line there.
All the time.
Christoph Waltz is like one of the best actors.
He's a great actor.
On the market right now. He's so underrated.
You wouldn't say
his performance in Inglourious Bastards was like bone chilling.
Yeah.
That's like amazing. And he was really, really good in Django. Like you can't say that he. Like,
I didn't say he was bad.
But you said he
he's
plays
one
the
note.
same.
He's pretty one note.
He's not
really
one
great,
note.
really great Christoph Waltz performance is
You're gonna say Green
Carnage.
Don't even bring up Carnage, man. We're not going there.
You don't like Carnage?
Do you want to go at it?
Dude, Carnage is great.
I'll just leave it at Roman Polanski.
That's true. Actually, I forgot that it was a Roman Polanski.
I'm just gonna leave it at
that. Nonetheless, Christoph Waltz is incredible in that movie. It was a great performance.
Okay.
I'm not saying that Christoph Waltz isn't a great actor.
Fair.
But Matt did.
No, that's not true. I said he's a really good actor.
You did.
But he's pretty one note.
He's not.
He's
not one note, and I really disagree with you. I think like he's been in a few films as of late that have sort of underutilized him and sort of like really only played on the way that he can play a villain so well. Like he was in the James Bond movie, and it was I was so disappointed. Like the only reason that like I don't care about James Bond at all. The only reason I went to go see it because Christoph Waltz is like one of my favorite actors, and I was like, come on, like this is such a the character was one dimensional.
Yes, his
performances, however, are not.
That's fair. I'll give you that. He's not one dimensional, but the performances where everyone raves about, it's the same performance.
You can't know.
I think that like the performances he's done recently have lowered his stock. For sure.
Zero Theorem. Remember that one?
With Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
Big Eyes.
Yeah, true. After like post Inglourious, like right after Inglourious Basterds and right after Django, I'm like he probably could have done anything, but I feel like he wasn't picking the right roles, or he was just in a string of bad movies, and they've kind of lowered his stock a little bit. So like that name is kind of not as exciting.
I'm ready for that big return to form from Christoph Waltz.
Me too.
Yeah. Excellent way to wrap that up.
How did we get to Christoph Waltz again?
Hey, it happens.
Quentin Tarantino, brother.
Yeah. We were talking about Leo, and then, escalated.
Yeah.
So the next one, we're going to go to a galaxy far, far away for this one. Solo, a Star Wars story. No, not Star Trek. That's the wrong tagline, Liam.
Different.
But yeah, so Solo, a Star Wars story premiered at the prestigious Cannes Film Festival this week. And some of the early reviews are in, guys.
Yeah, and?
What do we think they are?
Not good.
Good.
Medium? Lukewarm?
Good? Medium?
Rare.
Well done?
I just want to point out.
Rare or well done.
I want to point out. I
rare.
can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who infiltrated the early tweets for Infinity War.
Oh, I don't know what his name was, but it was so funny.
That guy.
Yeah, managed to do the same for this movie.
And they still were using his
Variety
tweets.
used his tweet, and his tweet was, "I loved Solo, a Star Wars story. There is a 45-minute scene where they just eat an onion, but aside from that, the movie is great."
It's like they don't read
like Variety. Take the second to read the tweet. But a lot of positives that I'm hearing. A lot of good things.
I really hope that Alden, what's his name?
Ehrenreich?
Ehrenreich? I don't know. I really hope he proves people wrong, because I've been going to bat for him since he was announced, and people were not excited, and I really hope that.
I'm on the same boat as you. I defend him, but I do agree. What?
I don't know if you do.
On your side. Why
everyone was against me
No,
last time
I go on
this.
record as saying I called him a wet napkin.
No.
Which is
how I disagree.
How I feel.
I think he's a really
watch Hail
solid
Caesar?
actor.
I think he's a pretty dry napkin.
But what I was saying is just he didn't have the voice, And in the trailer, there were some moments where he didn't, and some where he was really trying, and it just didn't really make sense.
Well, his voice is unique to him,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
So
little
watch
inside
Solo.
joke for you guys.
I'm excited for Solo. I'm gonna see it. Probably opening night.
The reviews I'm seeing so far are a lot of them are saying there are hit and miss moments, but overall, good action, solid performances.
I think we can all expect some solid action.
I've said this
from
since
these
day
Disney
one.
movies.
Disney is not gonna let any of their Marvel movies or any of their Star Wars movies be bad.
Well, yeah, because
They're
they
not
pay
gonna
off
let
the
it.
reviewers. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
It's because all the critics are Marvel fanboys. They're not gonna let any of those franchises be bad, because they just know I don't know if it's because they've got the formula down pat, or it's just if they sense that it's going bad, they'll do
Cut you off.
whatever they'll write a check for however much money to make it work.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised with Rogue One. Do we think it's going to be as good as Rogue One?
I hope so. I hope it's better than Rogue One, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wasn't huge on Rogue One.
Oh.
I'm on record as saying that I really like
Contrary.
really like the third act of Rogue One, but the road there was
I hope it's a more
really
complete
drag.
movie
Yes,
then,
I agree.
because I could never watch Rogue One again.
I tried
because
and I skipped ahead.
Even the first time in the theater,
So
I
the
was
third
the
part.
first third, I was like, this is not working at all. But then
But
the third act,
yeah, it got me in the end. I really in sitting in the theater. I was like, oh my god, I don't like this.
but all
movie.
these reshoots kind of had me worried that it's not going to be a complete movie.
Rogue One had reshoots.
It's almost
too.
I heard
actually
it's 70% Ron Howard.
Interesting. I wonder
Yeah,
if you'll
I
be
read
able
that.
to tell what's left in from the
Still want a Phil Lord, Chris Miller.
100%.
Star
Those
Wars.
guys are
All the
hilarious.
scenes with no jokes, that's him.
I just
yeah.
want them to improv the
boring
entire
scenes.
time, and I want it to be so out there.
Maybe the problem is that they gave them Han Solo. I wonder if they would have given them a lower stakes Star Wars movie.
Like a
a
Chewbacca
Porg movie or
movie.
something
No,
like that.
just like a
Chewie, a Star
Look,
Wars
we'll let
story.
you give Chewie all the improv lines.
It doesn't even have to be a. It doesn't even have to be a character that we know, right? Ryan
That's-
Johnson's
yeah.
getting a whole trilogy to do
Very
whatever the
true.
heck he wants. Why not just give Lord and Miller a chance to do a comedy movie set in the Star Wars universe,
I
so
want
that it's
that.
not like, oh, you're ruining Han Solo. It's like, no, this is our own thing. So
Yeah.
I would like to see that in the future. I hope that bridge isn't totally burned.
Yeah,
That is
Probably
fair.
is, but I hope it isn't.
Nice.
I hope it isn't.
I hope so.
So those were our cutting room floor entries. We're going to talk about some new releases real quick here. Margot Robbie, Terminal, new movie coming out. I don't know if it looks very good.
Haven't heard
I
much
might
about
skip
it.
it.
This is the
Probably
one
not
with.
gonna see it.
Is it Simon Pegg? Isn't it?
Perhaps.
It's like a
to be honest,
neo noir movie.
yeah, and there's a lot of neon colors. They're just trying to
Hey.
fit that aesthetic.
I might see it.
Cool.
I might check it out.
Yeah. And Life of the Party with
Melissa
McCarthy. She's funny.
Looks funny.
She's a really funny actress.
Maya Rudolph is also in that film.
Yes.
And she is
Jillian
funny.
Jacobs.
Yep. So
I'm a
the
big fan.
cast has me hoping that it's good.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
it doesn't look like a
Talking
very great
about this
story.
with a friend of mine that like she churns out a movie every year at this
Yeah.
point, and like half of them are good, half of them are
Yeah.
not good. And yeah,
Good for
and
her,
I think that's,
that-
like I think she's really funny, but like
Yeah.
I think she's got a.
She's
but
actually
I guess
like
her
the
movies are
highest
probably,
paid female comedic actor.
I was
in
gonna
Hollywood.
say
Yeah.
they must be making money because
Yeah.
they keep paying her those big checks to be the lead in these movies.
And she just loves acting, I think. She just loves doing it, so she's going to keep doing it.
Good
She's
for her.
she's really funny. She's like really good, like
She's
physical
got a-
comedy and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
she's
totally.
like amazing. Yeah,
she's got a movie
cool.
coming out supposedly this summer called Happy Time Murders that I'm very excited for.
Is
I've
that
heard
the
been in
drama?
It's like a puppet neo noir movie.
Okay, no.
Weird.
It's been in the works for a long time, and I've been following it, like the production of it, for so long.
Puppets?
Yeah,
Oh.
puppets.
Because
Like neo noir movie starring puppets, and
that is very interesting.
Sounds niche.
I feel like she's a weird star in that movie. Like it's weird for her to be in a neo noir puppet movie, but I'm excited.
There's this other one too. She's like gonna try dramatic fare. Yeah, gasp, exactly, big mouth open. But it's apparently like this story where she like forges like these letters.
Identity Thief.
No,
Man,
it's not.
that movie
was
came
funny.
out already.
Yeah, no, she forges letters and like passes them off as like famous writers from the past, and then eventually like people start catching on, and they're like, "Hey,
Interesting.
we think you're a con artist."
Love movies
Yeah.
about liars, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see her.
Big Little
Big Little
Pretty
Lies.
Little Liars.
Both
Big
TV
Little
shows.
Lies.
You just named 2 TV shows.
So yeah, Terminal and Life of the Party, guys. That's coming out today on Friday. So check it out if you want to.
Yeah. Spend my weekend at the theater watching those
Double feature.
multiple times. I'm gonna watch them all.
Oh damn.
Binge.
3 times each. Yeah. I'm
Binge
gonna binge them
those.
all 3 times.
You guys don't have to do that. We know movie tickets are expensive. But, you know, of course, we're not going to tell you what to do. Do what you want this
your
lovely
money.
weekend, listeners. So that basically wraps up the show, guys.
yeah.
So thanks so much for checking out the CineFiles Extended Cut. And be sure to subscribe to MojoTalks, I should say. You can also find us audio version on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our MojoTalks YouTube channel for the video version of the CineFiles Extended Cut.